Now, I don't know if you're a fan or if you're anti the tomahawk, but I do know that if you're gonna drop the coin on a beautiful cut of beef like this, you have to cook it perfectly. And that's where I come in. I'm gonna show you step by step how to cook an absolutely perfect tomahawk steak on your charcoal grill. You get all of that smoky, delicious flavor, perfect medium rare inside, nice crispy, crunchy outside, flavor and tenderness in every single bite. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's get started. Now, a tomahawk steak is basically a really bony ribeye. This is a bone-in ribeye. Generally, they're cut pretty thick, usually about 2 inches, and they come with the rib bone attached. Now, the rib bone does nothing in terms of adding flavor to the finished steak at all. However, it looks fantastic. It makes an absolutely gorgeous presentation. I love cooking tomahawks for special occasions, anniversaries, birthdays, a really great Wednesday. But the bone is definitely not required. And if you are just doing a thick cut ribeye, the same cooking method applies.
We're gonna kick things off with our steak prep by using a dry brine. A dry brine is a dry, heavy sprinkling of salt. I like to use kosher salt. This is Morton's kosher salt if you're particular about brands, and sprinkle it on all sides of my tomahawk steak. A good rule of thumb for dry brining is to give yourself about an hour per inch of thickness on the meat that you're brining. You can see a little time lapse here where the salt on the exterior of the steak actually pulls moisture out of the meat itself, and then that salinated moisture will be absorbed back into the tomahawk steak, resulting in a steak that is tender, incredibly juicy, and seasoned all the way throughout. Before we grill our steak, we do want to remove any of the excess salt that hasn't dissolved. This generally happens around the fat, but sometimes there can be excess pieces. So a nice wipe down with a paper towel is a great way to go. For cooking, we're doing this over indirect heat on a charcoal grill, which means I have my heat and my coals banked on one side of the grill, my meat on the opposite side of the grill. So the meat going down on the indirect side with the lid closed will take about 45 minutes total to get to a nice internal temperature of about 115 before the final sear. Now, I do flip halfway through at about the 20-minute mark just to keep an eye on my heat and my eye on my temperature. The overall temperature in my grill during the indirect heat cooking period is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Should give me a nice even cook through. Now, once my meat has reached that internal temperature, I'm moving it over to the direct heat side of the grill for this final sear. This is going to give us a beautiful, crispy, crunchy outside. You'll see the flames start to pick up as the fat begins to render. You can decide how much of that flame-kissed flavor you really want on the exterior of your meat and develop that crust to your own liking. Now, this is where that tomahawk bone comes in handy, because if you have some heat-resistant gloves, gives you a great opportunity to use it as a handle as you're turning your beef on the grill. I do turn it pretty frequently to really layer on that crust and that flavor from the high heat of the charcoal.
I'm just gonna put butter on and the pepper. This is the kind of steak you do happy dances about, and I haven't even tried it yet, but the color on the outside, the smell of that pepper that's been heated up but not burned, and that melted butter across the top of the steak, this is insane. My mouth is watering. I cannot wait. So, presentation is a huge part of the tomahawk ribeye experience. So what I like to do is just cut it off the bone. Set the bone aside. I want to use that as, part of the whole experience as we serve. And then I'm gonna slice and shingle my ribeye so that you can see that perfectly cooked interior. And every bite gets a crispy piece of that exterior char, a little bit of the butter, a little bit of the pepper. Now, it's so simple. The goal here is that you really taste the beef itself. You really get to enjoy the tenderness of this ribeye, the juiciness of that medium rare cook. It's everything. Now that, my friends, is a better than restaurant experience. Not only is it going to taste at the highest level of restaurant quality that you could get, it's gonna taste even better actually because you made it at home. And you put all the time and the love into cooking this beautiful piece of beef. Now, if we've done our jobs correctly, we're gonna get that saltiness from the dry brine all the way through, the butter and the fresh cracked black pepper on the outside, and that beautiful smoky char from cooking it over charcoal. I cannot wait. This feels like a real luxury. Absolutely so delicious. Man, I love my job. This is the greatest thing. I hope you guys give my version of a grilled tomahawk a try in your own backyards. Feel what it's like to be a backyard barbecue hero. It's totally worth it. We'll see you guys next time.